This video did not exist in your timeline until the exact moment you directed your attention toward it. Think about that for a second. Out of millions of possibilities, your consciousness collapsed the wave function of reality to bring this specific message onto your screen right now. We are going to explore the ultimate mystery of the universe. We are talking about the quantum field, the observer effect, and the profound paradoxes that govern human creation. By the time this video ends, you will deeply understand your true power as the architect of your entire existence. You will never look at lack, loneliness, or desire the same way ever again. But tell me first, have you ever felt that the harder you try to get something, the further away it seems to run from you? To understand this, we must first establish what the quantum field actually is. In our terms, it is not just empty space. It is a vibrating web of infinite intelligence. It is a sea of pure, unmanifested potential. Everything you could ever want already exists there as a wave of probability. Every version of you, rich, poor, loved, or alone, is waiting in this invisible dimension. But the field does not act on its own. It requires an observer. Observation is not just looking at things with your physical eyes. It is an active, deeply energetic process. You are observing with your beliefs, your core emotions, and your dominant state of being. You are the projector, and the universe is simply the screen. But the mechanism of this projection operates entirely on paradox. Listen closely to this truth. Everything you have ever been taught about getting what you want is entirely backward. Society tells you to chase, to strive, to push against the fabric of the world until it yields to your desires. But what if I told you that the very act of chasing is exactly what pushes your desires further away? This is the ultimate trap of the human experience. You are taught to operate in a physical world of dense cause and effect. But you do not live in a purely physical world. You exist within a boundless, shimmering web of infinite possibilities. This is the quantum reality, and in this space, the rules are completely reversed. The quantum field does not respond to your desperate efforts. It does not hear your begging. It does not care about your timeline or your exhaustion. Instead, it responds only to your dominant state of being. And here is the grand paradox that you must awaken to today. The field gives you exactly what you no longer desperately need. It rushes toward you only when you stop running after it. This is why the most profound manifestations happen when you finally let go. You are about to learn how to master this contradiction. Let us examine the vibrational mechanics of wanting. When you want something, what are you actually communicating to the universe? What is the secret frequency behind the phrase, "I want this"? The hidden message is, "I do not have this." Wanting is the energetic signature of lack. It is a broadcast of absence. Every time you yearn for money, or cry out for a partner, or beg for a better life, your consciousness is screaming a single message into the void. It is screaming that you are empty. And because the quantum field is a perfect, flawless mirror, it can only reflect your current state back to you. It takes your frequency of lack and collapses it into physical experiences of more lack. It gives you circumstances that make you want even more. You become trapped in a loop of endless yearning. To break this cycle, you must stop wanting and start being. You must bridge the gap between where you are and where you wish to be, not with action, but with vibration. This is the hardest lesson for the human ego to accept. You cannot attract abundance while vibrating at the frequency of scarcity. This brings us to the great wealth paradox. To get rich, you must feel completely abundant in having absolutely nothing. Think about how strange that sounds to the logical mind. How can you feel wealthy when your bank account is empty? How can you feel prosperous when the bills are piling up? This is exactly where the quantum test lies. Wealth is not a number in a database. It is not a stack of paper. Wealth is an internal frequency. It is a feeling of safety, expansion, and infinite provision. When you look at your empty wallet and feel sheer panic, you are locking that poverty into your timeline. But what if you could sit in an empty room and generate the exact same feeling of security that a billionaire has? What if you could feel a deep, unwavering gratitude for the air in your lungs, the water in your glass, and the infinite potential surrounding you? When you do this, you hack the matrix. You bypass the physical illusion and speak directly to the field. You become a match for wealth before the wealth even arrives. The energetic signature of true wealth is incredibly quiet. It is not loud, flashy, or desperate. People who are truly wealthy do not wake up every morning stressing about how to manifest money. They simply assume it is there. It is a state of calm expectation. You must cultivate this exact signature right now, exactly where you are. You must walk down the street as if you own the entire city, not with arrogance, but with a peaceful, silent knowing. When you go to buy a simple cup of coffee, do not feel the pain of spending your last few dollars. Instead, feel the immense luxury of being able to exchange energy for a warm drink. Celebrate the transaction. Feel the abundance of the experience. By shifting your perspective on small, everyday moments, you begin to emit the frequency of someone who has more than enough. The quantum field cannot tell the difference between you having $1 or $1 million. It only reads your emotional state. If your state is pure abundance, the field is forced by universal law to organize circumstances, people, and opportunities to match that frequency. Let us look at a real-life example of this financial paradox. Perhaps you have experienced something like this. You are stressing over a debt for weeks. You are calculating, worrying, and losing sleep. Nothing happens. The money does not come. The tension builds until you finally hit a breaking point. Out of sheer exhaustion, you just give up. You say to yourself, "I do not care anymore. Whatever happens, happens. I will be fine either way." You truly let go of the attachment to the outcome. You drop the heavy burden of the problem. And then, as if by magic, within 48 hours, an unexpected check arrives in the mail. A friend pays back an old loan. A random gig falls into your lap. Why did this happen? It was not magic. It was quantum physics. The moment you stopped worrying, you stopped transmitting the frequency of lack. You returned to a neutral, peaceful 0 point. You got out of your own way. The wave of probability that contained your financial solution was finally allowed to collapse into reality because the resistance was gone. Now, let us transition to the paradox of love. This is perhaps the most painful illusion humanity suffers from. Society conditions you to believe that you are only half of a soul. You are told that you need to find your other half to be complete. Books, movies, and songs all preach the gospel of dependency. But the quantum field laughs at this concept. To find true, magnificent love, you must become entirely whole in being completely alone. If you are seeking a partner because you feel lonely, empty, or unloved, you are broadcasting a frequency of desperate need. You are telling the universe, "I am broken. Please send someone to fix me," and the universe will oblige. But it will not send you a healer. It will send you a mirror. It will send you a partner who reflects your own emptiness back to you. You will attract relationships based on mutual lack, trauma bonding, and codependency. You will pull in people who drain you because you are energetically asking to be completed from the outside. This is a quantum impossibility. The only way to attract the highest, most divine form of love is to stop needing it. You must become the love you are seeking. You must sit in your solitude and realize that it is not isolation. It is an opportunity for total self-actualization. You must fall deeply, madly in love with your own consciousness. Treat yourself with the reverence, kindness, and devotion that you wish a partner would give you. Cook beautiful meals for yourself. Speak kindly to your reflection. Build a life so rich, so fulfilling, and so joyful that a partner would only be an addition, not a necessity. When you reach the state where you honestly say, "I would be perfectly happy if I stayed single for the rest of my life," you become highly magnetic. You become a glowing beacon in the quantum field. You are no longer a black hole sucking in energy. You are a sun radiating light, and it is a universal law that light attracts light. By needing no one, you become utterly irresistible to everyone. Consider the stories you hear all the time about people finding their soulmates. How often does it happen when someone is frantically swiping on apps, going on blind dates, and crying themselves to sleep out of loneliness? Rarely. The story always sounds the same. They decided to take a break. They deleted the apps. They focused on their career, their hobbies, and their inner peace. They found joy in walking alone in the park or sitting alone in a cafe. They surrendered the desire. And then, on a random Tuesday, when they were looking their worst and paying no attention, they bumped into someone in the grocery store. Their eyes met, and the rest was history. This is the quantum love paradox in action. When you drop the desperate search, you drop the resistance. You step out of the frequency of loneliness and into the frequency of wholeness. The universe recognizes your completion and sends you a counterpart who is equally complete. Two whole beings uniting, rather than two halves desperately clinging to one another. Consider the true nature of the observer effect in your daily life. Science tells us that a quantum particle exists in a state of pure probability. It is everywhere and nowhere at the same time. It is only a wave of potential. But the exact moment a scientist measures it, the wave collapses. It becomes a solid particle in a specific location. Now, take this out of the laboratory and put it into your living room. You are the ultimate scientist of your own life. Your attention is the measuring device. Whatever you focus your intense attention upon collapses from a wave of infinite possibilities into a solid, tangible event in your reality. But here is where most people fail. They focus their attention on the absence of the thing they want. They observe the empty bank account. They observe the empty bed. By observing the emptiness, they collapse the wave function into more emptiness. You must train yourself to observe the invisible. You must look at your current reality and see the underlying abundance. When you observe the hidden potential rather than the obvious lack, the field has no choice. It must collapse into the physical equivalent of your observation. Why does the quantum field love paradoxes so much? Why can it not just be straightforward? Because the universe operates on the principle of dynamic balance. It breathes in and breathes out, tension and release, push and pull. When you exert too much force in one direction through obsessive desire, you disrupt the balance. The universe will naturally push back with equal force to maintain equilibrium. This is known as the law of reversed effort. The harder you try to force an outcome, the harder the universe resists you. A paradox resolves this tension. When you hold two opposing states at the same time, desiring something but being completely detached from whether you get it, you create a 0 point. You neutralize the excess potential. You become a hollow bamboo flute for the universe to blow its music through. You hold the vision, but you release the grip. This delicate dance between intention and surrender is the greatest secret of the ancient mystics. It is the art of acting without acting. We must clarify a massive misconception about this process. Letting go is not the same thing as giving up. Giving up is a low vibration state of defeat, apathy, and victimhood. It is saying, I cannot have this, so I will just suffer. Surrender, on the other hand, is one of the highest frequencies a human being can achieve. Surrender is an active, powerful state of absolute trust. It is saying, I know that what I want is already mine in the quantum realm. Therefore, I do not need to stress, force, or manipulate the physical world to get it. I trust the infinite intelligence of the field to bring it to me at the perfect time and in the perfect way. Surrender is dropping the how and focusing only on the what. When you surrender, you are not abandoning your dream. You are actually handing the blueprint over to a master builder. You step back and allow the universe to do the heavy lifting. This shift from egoic control to quantum trust is where miracles are born. Let us talk about entering the 0 point field. This is the state of consciousness where true creation happens. In the 0 point, there is no past and no future. There is only the eternal now. It is a state of absolute neutrality. You are not overly excited and you are not depressed. You are simply existing as pure awareness. When you meditate and bring your brainwaves down to a slow theta state, you enter this void. Here, you are no longer a body, a name, or a set of problems. You become pure consciousness. From this space of nothingness, you can plant a new seed. Because you have detached from your current identity, the field is highly malleable. You can introduce the feeling of being wealthy or the feeling of being deeply loved into this void. Because there is no resistance, no logical mind telling you it is impossible, the seed takes root instantly. You spend 10 minutes in this state, feeling the reality of your desire, and then you open your eyes and leave it there. You do not carry the seed back into your daily life and dig it up to see if it is growing. How exactly do your thoughts collapse reality? Think of your thoughts as electrical charges and your feelings as magnetic pools. When you have a thought, you are sending an electrical signal out into the quantum field. But a thought alone is not enough to manifest physical matter. You can chant affirmations all day long, but if you feel nothing, nothing will change. It is your emotion that provides the magnetic force to draw the experience back to you. The thought defines the destination, but the emotion is the fuel in the engine. This is why paradox is so powerful. If you think about money, but feel anxious, your magnet is repelling the money. If you think about love, but feel lonely, your magnet is repelling the partner. To successfully collapse the wave function, your thought of wealth must be paired with the emotion of gratitude. Your thought of a relationship must be paired with the emotion of wholeness. When the electrical signal and the magnetic pull are aligned in absolute harmony, the field responds instantly. The wave collapses. The true role of emotion cannot be overstated. The universe does not understand English, Spanish, or any human language. It only understands frequency, and your emotions are the primary generators of your frequency. When we say you must feel abundant when you have nothing, we are giving you the precise formula for quantum hacking. You must manufacture the emotion before the event occurs. This is the opposite of how most people live. Most people wait for the outside world to change so they can feel a certain way inside. They wait for the check to feel wealthy. They wait for the lover to feel loved. They are living by cause and effect. To become a quantum creator, you must cause an effect. You must generate the emotion internally, solely through your imagination and focus. When you sustain this emotion long enough, your body begins to believe that the future event is happening right now. Your biological chemistry changes. You literally become a new person. And reality has no choice but to shift to match your new biological and energetic state. As you begin to practice this, you will notice a fascinating phenomenon. The universe will start to give you feedback. This feedback comes in the form of synchronicity. Synchronicity is not a coincidence. It is the quantum field winking at you. It is the physical world rearranging itself to match your new internal state. You might start seeing recurring numbers, like 1111. You might think of an old friend, and they call you 5 minutes later. You might stumble across a book or a video that holds the exact answer to a question you were just pondering in your mind. Do not dismiss these events. They are glowing breadcrumbs left by the universe. They are proof that your consciousness is successfully interacting with the fabric of reality. When you experience a synchronicity, acknowledge it. Feel a surge of gratitude. Say to yourself, I am in alignment. The field is responding to me. The more you acknowledge these small signs, the more you amplify your magnetic pull for the larger manifestations. Consider the phenomenon of déjà vu. Have you ever walked into a room or had a conversation and felt an overwhelming certainty that you have been there before? From a quantum perspective, déjà vu is a profound moment of alignment. It means that your current conscious awareness has briefly intersected with a future timeline that you have already created in the quantum field. You are literally remembering the future. When you feel abundant while having nothing, and you hold that frequency, you create a timeline of wealth. When the physical events eventually catch up, and you step into that wealthy reality, you might experience déjà vu. It feels familiar because your consciousness has already lived it. You already spent months feeling it before it arrived. Déjà vu is the ultimate confirmation that time is an illusion, and that everything is happening simultaneously in the eternal now. It is a sign that your inner work has successfully bridged the gap to physical reality. The most crucial step in this entire process is detaching from the outcome. This is where the paradox locks into place. You must care deeply about your vision, yet simultaneously not care at all if it happens. How do you achieve this impossible balance? You do it by realizing that your internal state is the ultimate goal, not the physical object. The reason you want $1 million is only because you think it will make you feel free. The reason you want a soulmate is only because you think they will make you feel loved. But if you have already generated the feeling of freedom, and you have already generated the feeling of love, the physical manifestation becomes irrelevant. You already have the prize. You are already living in the joy. When the desire loses its power to dictate your happiness, it loses its resistance. The moment you truly say, "I am so happy right now that I do not even need the money or the person anymore," that is the exact moment the universe drops them right into your lap. We must also address the trap of toxic positivity, which is often confused with quantum creation. Ignoring your pain, repressing your anger, and pretending everything is fine when your world is falling apart is not how you command the field. The quantum field responds to authenticity, not pretense. If you are grieving, grieve completely. If you are angry, feel the anger burn through you. Paradoxically, fully accepting and feeling your negative emotions is the fastest way to return to the 0 point. When you fight your current reality, you give it energy. What you resist persists. To transform a negative situation, you must first accept it with absolute neutrality. You look at the empty bank account and say, "Yes, this is my current physical reality, and that is okay. It is just a temporary echo of past thoughts." By removing the fear and the judgment from the situation, you neutralize its power over you. Only from this space of calm acceptance can you begin to pivot your focus toward a new, abundant timeline. Your daily practice must shift from being a frantic doer to becoming a silent witness. You must become the observer of your own life. When a stressful thought arises, do not panic. Just observe it. Say, "Oh, there is a thought of lack. How interesting," and then let it float away like a cloud. When a trigger occurs in your external reality, do not react automatically. Pause. Step back into the seat of the observer. Remember that the physical world is just a delayed reflection of the past. It is old news. By staying anchored in the present moment as the silent watcher, you stop feeding energy into the old reality. You stop reinforcing the chains of cause and effect. You create a gap between stimulus and response. And in that gap lies your infinite power to choose a different frequency. Every time you choose peace over panic, every time you choose wholeness over desperation, you are collapsing a new, higher wave of probability into your life. This is the ultimate integration of the paradox into your identity. You must walk through the world as a master of the unseen. You understand that the physical world is heavy, slow, and deceptive. You no longer trust your physical eyes, you trust your inner vision. You know that to gain everything, you must be willing to release your grip on everything. You find the deepest connection in the silence of your own company. You find the greatest riches in the simplicity of the present moment. You have decoded the matrix. You understand that the universe is not outside of you, judging you or withholding things from you. The universe is you. It is your own consciousness exploring itself. When you finally stop fighting yourself, the war is over. The struggle ends. The quantum field recognizes its master and bows to your calm, unshakable knowing. You do not need to chase anymore. You have arrived. The greatest revelation of all is this. You are not a person sitting in reality trying to manipulate the quantum field. You are the quantum field itself, localized in a physical body, observing itself into existence. You are the creator and the creation. By embracing the paradox, by finding wealth in emptiness and love in solitude, you reclaim your divine power. You stop pushing against the mirror and start changing the reflection from within. Thank you for joining me on this profound journey today. If this message resonated with your soul, please subscribe to the channel and hit the like button so this knowledge can reach others. I want you to anchor this truth into your physical reality right now. Write this exact phrase in the comments below. I am the observer, creating my reality in perfect harmony. Tell me, what synchronicities or strange signs have you been noticing in your life recently? Share your experiences, and I will see you in the next video.